MovieWeb.com.
You sort of play the villain in this film. Do you think?
Villain is really not a nice way to present.
I know what I was gonna say. Do you think she considers herself a bad girl? Bad guy?
Well, she probably does, actually. She probably considers herself cynical and tough and, like, a little bit aloof and too cool for anything sentimental. But we all like to consider ourselves that way when we're in pain, I think. And her journey, I guess, is to get right back into her heart and not be afraid to be there.
Well, what I thought was interesting about your character is usually when you see a scene where an actress gets naked, it's a sex scene. You have like a very in-depth dialogue exchange while both of you aren't wearing any clothes. I mean, how difficult is it to do a scene that's that emotional without any clothes on?
Well, I mean, I think the sentiment of the movie is more European in that way, in that, you know, naked people can be in the film and it's not so shocking. But as an actor, it's a bit confronting. Like, how do you remember your lines when you're, like, suddenly naked in front of all these people? But I think that aspect of it was exciting for us in a way because we were so vulnerable and it made the scene much more human as well. And there was nothing disguised. This is kind of two people and this is what it's like to be in the room with them at this moment. So it's a compelling scene, and partly because of that, I would say.
Well, what did you try to do to make this character likable when she's got a lot of unlikable qualities to her?
You know, I didn't really try to make her likable. You know, that probably you could have played it in such a way that you'd want to undermine the aspects of her that were hardened or tough or detached. But the point of it was that she'd created this little barrier around herself for whatever reason. And it was interesting just to make that understandable.
Well, one of the things I thought was really interesting that I see a lot of actors not do is in the coffee shop, you grab the coffee after you order it and take it with you. Now, was that a conscious decision on your part? Or was that something that... I know that's a weird question,
What
but
do you mean?
when I was watching it, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, she ordered a coffee, she hasn't drank it, of course she's going to get up and leave it on the table. And
No,
that's
no,
like
no,
one
no,
of the
no.
first times I've ever seen an actress pick it up and take it with her. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I just knew that I ordered the coffee and I would go home with my coffee. But you're right. You know, a lot of the time the reality of the scene is what doesn't actually even occur in the scene. It's what's going to happen after or what happened before the scene begins. And it's sort of where you might be in a scene but knowing you have to go home to check your answering machine, and that creates a whole energy for that scene. So yeah, it's often about what you don't see.
Feast of Love.